Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for anyone who's returning, and welcome for anyone who is new. My name is Michelle. My camera is crooked. Hold on. Okay, so I wanted to come on here and talk about just, I don't know, the constant mental health struggle that I see online, and how I think it's very triggering, but like people keep re-triggering themselves. And what I mean by that is that everyone is sending themselves into a very like panic state, in a sense of like feeling like the things that are being done to Black people are new, and it's like this is history repeating itself over and over again. And I feel like everyone tries to stay disconnected while staying very much reminded by seeing it in their face every second. Imagine everywhere we get online, they allow you to see a Black person getting shot to death. And I think it's quite crazy how our suffering and pain is always able to be recorded and reshared and re-triggering to us, whereas other people do not do the same things. That stuff is hidden in a way, but it seems like you can casually see a Black person getting killed, and I feel like the more people see that, the more they normalize it in their mind that violence against us is just something that occurs, and it's like it really doesn't. And it also speaks to the lack of history, like true actual history that is taught, because obviously they don't want a certain group of people to look bad even though they are, and even though they still benefit from the systems that are currently in place. We all have to remember that America wasn't always America, quote unquote, and this was not actually found. No one found it. It was already here. So I feel like everyone acts like the history of what happened here is not still very much relevant to what's happening today. The language that's used against Black people is, to me, I feel like it's worse now, because I feel like a lot of people, they overlook and don't understand how subtle racism can be. I'll give you an example in my life. I had just saw a tweet and someone was saying how just stressful and scary it was living their whole life on welfare and then having to go to a college and, deal with, being dependent on a scholarship. And I experienced the same thing where like I was too poor to do everything correctly. So it's like, okay, yes, I got into school, I got the scholarship, but I don't have any financial support. And I remember my first year of college, I literally, the most money I had was the $200 I was given in cash. That's it. Because I could not find a job, because obviously I'm not living there all the time because I'm all the way in DC. And people would just be like, oh, just move, as if it's like people think that you don't value what you have when you don't have a lot. And I feel like it's like, how could I not value it if that's all I had? And I get people taking certain things for granted, but it's like when you live in a constant everyday state your whole life of having little to nothing, and also dealing with like abuse and different things, like it's too much. And I grew up with like, I grew up in the hood, so gun violence, drugs, people on drugs, people being abused, XYZ. And I feel like people don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about me as a Black woman talking about my pain and talking about how it ties into today's times. Like, why is it that my locks are a problem, but if I was to straighten my hair, that's professional? How is the hair that grows out of my head not professional? Why is it that people will structure their hair to look like mine, and that's acceptable and that's classy and that's professional, whereas if I'm just like waking up and that's my hair, like some people like to wake up and go, I'm waking up and going with my locks. And it's, you know, I find it crazy when I walk into a place where it's black people and they kind of like scowl a little bit because they see I have locks. And it's like, it's kind of disappointing because if you are telling me, like for example, I know like in the lock community there's different types of people. It's people who freeform, it's people who retwist their hair like normally, like you never see their hair undone. Like you will not see their new growth, you will not see it. And then I tried to hold on to trying to retwist my hair, thinking that it's no point. My hair will just grows. And I feel like when people have this idea of like blackness within themselves, but like acceptable blackness, not like authentically black. It's like I'm being what I want to be, but like not the way I really wanted to be. So like for me, I've never liked doing my hair. I have too much trauma around my hair. That's a separate video. But I don't know. For me, I like the idea of getting up and going. So I would wear box braids a lot. Sorry, my girlfriend was on live and she's playing GTA and they just took her down. I forgot what I was saying. But I just wanted to come back to the point of like authentically being yourself. I realized that like, okay, I would tell myself, well, you don't like doing your hair anyway, so I will put the worst wigs on or just do box braids on my hair. And I also had that feeling of not wanting to upset other people or make other people uncomfortable, and it just made me uncomfortable. Like, why am I over here doing some lopsided cornrows on myself to put on a wig that can't fit on my head just because somebody don't want to see me without slick edges? Like, I don't know, when you really start to like sit there and think about why you believe what you believe and how much it ties into a certain group of people's standards, then we will be able to actually come up with a resolution for all of the things that are happening. I feel like people need to do individual work day to day to figure out why you do and say the things that you do so that you go out into the world and react to things differently. I feel like a lot of people sit online and just pretend. And I get it. I guess like, I don't know, social media used to be about like being real, sharing experiences, but a lot of the times now it's like fake. Like people fake storylines on TikTok to get famous. People fake stories on YouTube to get famous, Instagram, whatever. And to me, it's like scary in a way because you just never know what is real. And I feel like that's like exactly what they like people want us to do, is to like not live in the reality of the world. So many of us are scared and we still have to go outside and go to work. And it's not fair to put that in the mind of someone who isn't working from home, remote. Okay, you working at home, you chilling in bed, working, right? You on the clock, and you see these videos, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna reshare. Hashtag activism, like y'all be saying, or whatever, woke, whatever, right? And you're putting on the timeline for someone who has to go into a space where they may already not even feel welcome being in. I just can't believe I don't know, it's not one job I've had where I felt like truly welcome to just be myself. And I used to be okay with that to a certain extent, like code switching, quote unquote, but honestly it's just all bullshit. And you could be the most proper, you could talk 50 languages, you could have 5 degrees, honey, you could have $5 million, and you're still gonna be called the N-word, and still you won't be trusted, and still you won't be valued, and still you won't be respected, and still they won't stop over sexualizing you. But when are you going to turn away from the approval that you keep getting denied. Like, how many times can this government and country deny you? I don't know, but it's just like, I'm at this point of like, is anyone like offline? Like, are you going outside? Because it's like, we've been inside, right? COVID. Okay, we've been inside. And a lot of people have lived their lives outside. And I really feel like anyone who has had to spend more time inside, even with like the first year of COVID, like with people, like more mental health issues appearing in people who were perfectly fine before, or thought that they were fine because they were probably living on the delusion of being fine, but then they had to face that they really weren't fine. Because when you think about like humanity as a whole, not even race, and like the purpose behind existing, how can Black Americans tie themselves into white American culture if we were just the slaves and we were taken away from our culture? And every time we all try to get online and create that, it's always ruined. Like, my favorite example is, I find it so hilarious that tech companies are now trying to make their entry processes much harder. The standards always have to get bigger when Black people continuously meet the bar, and then we exceed the bar, and then people want to be able to just dwindle us back down to nothing, or people say nothing. But I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are not willing to break themselves out of the imagined happiness that they have with the state of this world, especially this country. And to sit here and pour, when I think about like how much of your life is spent dedicated to work, you have to get up in the morning, make sure you eat breakfast, brush your teeth, wash your face, get in the shower, get dressed. You gotta have clothes to go to work that fit whatever your job is, right? Because that's the thing. All of this shit is unreal, but I'm just giving you an example. It's like when you do all that, that's all dedicated to work. So then you go to work for 8 hours. And then if you're salary, you might be there for 10 hours. Then you have to spend more time traveling back. And in that time, what did you get done for yourself? And did it really make a difference? Because it's just like everyone sits around punishing themselves for not having anything. And it's like, what more could you do? Because it's like, I don't even know. It's like you're trying to enter into a competition, right? Like, you're at one school, these people are at another school, right? They're like another higher level, right? And you trying to enter a race, like you trying to qualify for their race. You're not. Nothing you do will qualify because you're Black. And I don't know what more needs to happen for y'all to understand that whatever you think is real, whatever appreciation and equality and whatever y'all making up in your mind is unreal, because we are still living under the same systems. So the same people, are y'all keeping up? The same people who did like the war on drugs and HIV and everything else, right? It's the same people now that you're voting for when you vote. It's like we keep getting like stepped on in every way, and then we keep taking the shoe and putting it back on us to get stepped on again. We just holding on to the shoe, waiting for them to get ready to step on us again. And to think that reposting a fucking tweet that turned into a quote, or reposting a video of a Black person getting killed to re-trigger someone that actually has to go out to work and put themselves in jeopardy for a job that's probably ruining their mental health, but they also need to survive, but that's also ruining their mental health. It's just like, I'm tired of everyone saying the word mental health, but it's like, in reality, it blows my mind to see certain people repost things and share things and act as if they have this deep empathy. No, everybody's just pretending to have empathy because everyone is sitting behind their screens just happy it's not them, relieved it's not them, instead of saying, wow, I have this type of resource, it may help this person in this way. No one even does that anymore. Everything, nothing is appreciated. We just doomed, y'all. That's all I gotta say. I'll see you in the next video.